Thank you. I just want to start by saying a mantra that I always sort of like put me present to my greed, to my vortex. So I, the source of my infinite being, from the power of my energized mind, I call for my knownness, my beingness, and my alignment. I always have so many questions, and they always get answered whether I'm here or I'm home, listening to CD or reading a book. And finally, I want to share with you what I do, that it doesn't work for me. And it is that every time that I'm always moving forward to a better place that feels better for me in my interactions and my thoughts. And when it comes to people, when I'm around people that are close to me, like my partner, my life partner, it is so clear to me that I want to, and you said this to me, second guess myself about it. I just feel like maybe people that are so close to me, they think that I'm foolish, behaving or thinking or focusing.
All right, that may be. And as you focus on that and you feel that, what's the grid that they are helping you to create that then fills in with more evidence of it?
Well,
You see?
Yes.
You see?
I do. Because I have this conversation for many, many, many years going on.
Yes.
And then when I stop, then all of a sudden I said to myself, wow, now I can hear them having conversations about things or the way or how I saw a situation when we were together. And it was this side or this side, and when they were going that side.
Most everybody is too interested in what people's response to them is. It's an interesting thing. So in this school setting that we are describing, or in this world setting, or in this community setting, or whatever environment is around you, there are all kinds of people who are observing you. Of course they are. And in their observation of you, they are creating their grid. So let them do that and wish them well. But what you're wanting to do is pay attention to your observation of them, which is creating your grid. So what happens is, as you observe people who you think are disapproving of you, and they're creating their grid, now hear this, this is really, 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 really interesting and good. So they're observing you and creating a grid, and their grid's filling in maybe with your cooperative behavior. Did you hear? They're observing you, they're not approving of you, and they're creating a grid, and their grid is filling in with your response. Seems logical, doesn't it? You're observing them and maybe disapproving, and you're filling in your grid with them, and that's why you're together. But let's say they're observing you. This is good. This takes all of this into the next place of understanding, doesn't it? They're observing you and maybe not approving, maybe disapproving. And the potential of filling their grid in with you is there, but you're not observing them. You're too smart for that. You're filling in your own grid. You're creating your own grid for your own reasons. And so you're on a whole different vibrational wavelength. So they can't fill their grid in with you, and you can't fill your grid in with them because you're on different vibrational frequencies. We cannot have ever said that clearer. You've been listening to us for a while. We've been talking about attraction in a lot of different ways. But so everybody is creating their own reality. What you want to do is approve of them even when they're not approving of you. Love them even if they're not loving you. Love unconditionally. When you love conditionally, you get hooked into their grid, and they get hooked into your grid, you see. And then you live that conditional life that you're not enjoying. That's helpful, isn't it?
Absolutely. And
So how would you go about applying that? In other words, how would you go about applying that?
Well, what I want to say is that intellectually.
Well, we don't want it to be intellectual.
I know that.
We want it to be emotionally, and that was the perfect response, because how would you go about applying that? And the answer is you have to care about how you feel more than anything else. And when you care about how you feel, then you're going to do the grid work, you see. You want to love them. We have a question for all of you, and just answer it as you feel inspired to do so. There's no right or wrong answer. At least we're telling you that until we get the wrong answer, and then we're going to nail you for it. When someone doesn't approve of you, do you care? Well, when someone doesn't approve of you, and if you are one who said you do care, how do you feel in their disapproval? So if you feel bad in their disapproval, what kind of grid are you establishing in this new 17 seconds? And then what's it going to fill in with? More of their disapproval. So if someone's disapproving of you and you feel bad and you want to create a different grid, what do? Do you try to get their approval? You do. You try to, but you can't. You do. You try to, but you can't, because no matter how hard you try, you can't, because you got a different grid going on. So what choice do you have? What is the only choice? You got to let go of it. You've got to sort of break the cycle of it by going general. So why do you think you wanted their approval to begin with? Because it would feel better if they gave you the approval. And what is their approval? What does their approval represent to you? Their love, their appreciation, their alignment. So if you go right to love and appreciation and alignment and leave them out of it because they're out there having their own experience, whatever it is, and you find love and approval and alignment anyway, unconditionally, because the condition didn't encourage it. You had to do it unconditionally. You had to do it unspecifically. You had to do it some different way. You did the grid work. You found the love because you want to feel the love, you want to be the love, you want to radiate the love, you want to attract the love. Now what are you going to get from them? Maybe love if they're in the vicinity. And we're here to tell you all of them are in the vicinity enough to get it if you would practice it enough. There's not a rascally enough person on this planet to withhold their love from you if you love them enough. Not one of them can deny you, you see. Because when you get into this grid, when you align with the wholeness of who you are, you have such power, you have such leverage, you have so much wholeness with who you are, that when you are radiating that, they will come around. They will come around. They will come around. They might have to croak to do it, but they will come around. They will come around. And in the meantime, you won't suffer the out-of-the-vortex-ness that they have inspired because you are maintaining your own alignment with who you are. That's the best definition that we've ever given of unconditional love. It's the best reason we've ever given for wanting to discover unconditional love. You are unconditional love. It's the basis of who you are. And anything less than that is such a deviation from who you are, you can't stand it, you see. It isn't fun not to be loved, but the reason that it isn't fun not to be loved is because when somebody's not loving you, you're usually not loving them, and you can't stand not to love because the basis of you is love, you see. You thought it was about something altogether different. You've been looking for love in all the wrong places, but when you find it, you'll find it in all the places, you see. When you are love, it must come to you everywhere that you are. It will come in the most illogical of fashion. It will come in places that you didn't expect it to show up. And when it comes in those surprising ways, that's when you really enjoy it the most, you see. That's when you find your true worthiness and power. This is good.
So as I move through my life, and I find myself that I'm listening to you here right now, and I know that it's not that I want them to love me because I know I'm loved, but it's also that I want them, for lack of better words, I don't want them to stay behind because I feel so much better every day of my life when I'm aware, when I'm in alignment, that I'm loved, that everybody does it, and then I don't want them to feel like they're falling behind. So I say, I'm not going to talk about it.
But that's why we're saying to you, from our perspective, they're all in exactly the right place. And the school's just fine. And the government is too. And nothing's going wrong. And the rightness is so much better than any wrongness. And the contrast is serving us all so magnificently well. And nothing's broken. And nothing needs to be fixed. And evolution is happening. And expansion is inevitable. And joy is natural. And freedom is the basis of all of it. And you're so free that you can choose how you feel in any moment. And as you choose on purpose and then watch what feels in and then choose deliberately and watch what feels in, you begin to understand that it's all right. And more of them will find it. But it's all right even if they don't. It's all right if they don't find it in this moment. If they're looking, it is our promise to you that they will find it, you see. And it is also our promise to you that they are all looking. So whether it will be something that converges in this moment with you or not is really not so important. But your knowledge that it will converge for them is important. It's what our friend said earlier. He wants to, what would the world be like if everyone could find that, you see? And we say it's what the world is like. Because at the basis of what everyone is this love and is this worthiness. It's why you're all here. You couldn't be here participating and playing in this magnificent adventure of motion forward and joyous expansion if you were not in the right place at the right time, you see. Nothing is going wrong. But it's time for you to have more fun in the process. It's time for you to lighten up and let more of your moments be convergence moments where wonderful things are happening to you. And we really want to say to you, you have all been doing one thing primarily, even those of you, or maybe even especially those of you who have been listening to us for a number of years and who are wanting to apply deliberate creation. You've been trying too hard to fill the grid in through your action, through your words. And this conversation is all on the subject of allowing. It's all on the subject of allowing, which means don't try to fill the grid in. Just accomplish the emotion at the basis of the grid and then revel in how it fills in. And feel your part in all of that. You live in a universe of attraction that is a vibrational place. And the vibrations are responding because of the powerful law of attraction to one another. And all is well in this world. And as you acknowledge your vibrational beingness, and then you acknowledge that the emotions that you feel are your indications of your vibrational beingness, and that the better you feel, the more in sync with that larger grid you are, and the worse you feel, the more out of sync with it you are, and that in every moment you have the opportunity, the option and the opportunity. Opportunity, not challenge. Opportunity, not responsibility. You have the chance. You have the chance right now to make a new grid, right now to make a new grid, right now to make a new grid. And the new grid that you just made is going to be dominant at least for the next 17 seconds. Dominant at least for the next 17 seconds. And if you can maintain it for at least that long, more will come to it. It will start filling in right away. And you're off and running, being the deliberate creator that you came to be. You didn't come to fix stuff that's broken because you knew from your broader perspective that nothing is broken. You came forth to revel in, to enjoy, to take pleasure in your inevitable expansion. You see.